morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Live Dharma. Today, our dear friend, wontempleNC, Bob Brown, is gonna give us a Dharma talk titled Heaven and Earth. Do you see the beautiful green behind? So let's enjoy the green of this spring. And let us start our practice with Qi Gong. Please join Reverends song.
Stand with your feet a little more than a shoulder width apart. Sweep arm to the side and breathe in. Then bend forward and clasp your hands together. Make a circle and breathe out. Breathe in. Let's stretch to the back. Breathing out. Return to the center. Breathing in, bend forward. Breathing out. Clasp your hands, breathing in and out. Breathe in, lean back. Return to the center. Breathe out. Turn to the left. Again, sweep arm to the side. Clasp your hands together. Breathe in. Make a bow stance. Breathe out. Breathe in, then lean back and stretch to the sky. Breathe out. Breathe in. Back sit stance. Hands together. Make a circle. Breathe out. Stretch to the back and breathe in and breathe out. To the opposite side. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, lean back. Breathing out, return to the center. Repeat. Sweep arm to the side. Clasp hands. Make a circle in front of your body. Stretch to the sky with bow stance and return to the center. Breathe out. Now, flying windmill to the center. Begin in horse stance with feet shoulder width apart and slowly rotate arms, shoulders, waist, and knees. Palms facing up to the sky. Make a small circle under the armpit. Then a large circle above the face. Coordinate your lower body with your upper body. This posture will improve blood circulation, release and warm up all joints, and increase flexibility and balance. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, chi sink to your dantian. Let us practice standing meditation.
With gratitude, I bow to the grace of heaven and earth, the infinite source and blessing of marvelous existence. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of parents, ancestors, and everyone who has helped give me life and nurture it. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of fellow beings. We are enriched and sustained through our interconnectedness. With gratitude, I bow to the grace of laws. With Dharma and universal principles to guide us, we embrace the protections of justice and freedom developed in human law. The method of sitting meditation. Meditation is simple and easy. Anyone can practice it. Please take time to find your most comfortable position on the floor or in a chair. Now wiggle to release any tension in your body. Rock front to back or side to side, like the pendulum of a grandfather clock, until you find the point of perfect balance. Breathe in, grab all your tension and breathe out. Release any mental or physical uneasiness. Relax your whole body. It is okay to slouch a little bit if that feels more natural to you. Just remember to let your mind's eye focus on belly breathing. Breathe and listen to your body. If your body agrees, gradually sit up tall. Gently straighten your spine without losing focus on the energy in your lower abdomen. You may start to feel your lower back growing stronger and your chest and heart opening. Now open your eyes softly and look straight ahead with a level gaze. Without moving your head or eyes, let your eyelids relax and drift downward to their most comfortable place. While keeping your ears softly aligned with your shoulder, tuck your chin in slightly and let your shoulders melt away from your ears. Enjoy the sensation of your arms and hands relaxing. Now, bring your awareness to your tongue. Place the tip of the tongue on the roof of your mouth. While your tongue is relaxed on your palate, pure and clear saliva may gather in the mouth. This is a delightful sign of cool energy ascending. Smile at your calm and clear spirit. Invite your awareness to return to your lower abdomen, your Qi energy field. This energy field is called Danjan, and it is located about 2 inches below your navel. Your Danjan is the power center for your breathing. Scan your entire body to see if there is any tension, especially in your face and head, neck, and shoulders. If your face and body begin to itch, simply note the itching and let it pass. If your legs ache unbearably, you may change position very slowly and quietly so that you maintain a calm stillness and honor the silent practice of those around you. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not be disturbed by them. Do not react to your thoughts or pursue them. Recognize them as just thoughts. They will disappear by themselves. Continue to bring your awareness back to your Danjan abiding breath. When your mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation. You will no longer feel any distinction between yourself and others, finding yourself free from the limits of time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, deeply aware of our ever calm, ever alert spirit. 전지영리하심정 만사요외하심통 전지여와 동일체 아여 전지던심정 전지영리하심정 만사요외하심통 전지여와 동일체 아여 전지던심정 전지영리하심정 만사요외하심통 전지여와 동일체 아여 전지동심정 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 전지영리하심정 만사요외하심통 전지여와 동일체 아여 전지동심정.
I wish and pray sincerely and truly, where my hands touch the world, where my feet walk on the earth, where my voice echoes through the hills, and in all realms where my heart and mind reach, that we are all together, share a true affinity for attaining great enlightenment and for helping all living beings. 원하옵니다. 원하옵니다. 간절히 원하옵니다. 내 손길 닿는 곳, 내 발길 머무는 곳, 내 음성 메아리치는 곳, 내 마음 향하는 곳마다 우리 모두 다 함께
Prajnaparamita, realize that life gates are empty and thus became free from all suffering and distress. O Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The same is true of sensations, perceptions, impulses, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. In emptiness, no form, no sensations, perceptions, no impulses, no consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, or mind consciousness, no ignorance nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, no extinction of death, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, with nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva relies on Prajnaparamita, therefore the mind has no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist, free from delusion, one dwells in nirvana. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on Prajnaparamita and obtain supreme enlightenment. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great mantra, is the great enlightening mantra, is the unsurpassed and unequal mantra, which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, which says, "Gone, gone, gone beyond, far beyond, now awaken. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva."
happy that we have the new garden. You can never have too much garden space. It's really lovely, and it's going to be even lovelier when it's all done.
Today, our dear friend Bob Brown, wontempleNC, is going to give us a Dharma talk titled Heaven and Earth. Let us practice deep listening, and after the talk, please leave your thoughts or one takeaway in our live chat room. Please welcome Bob Brown.
Good morning. I'm Bob Brown. My Dharma name is wontempleNC, and today I'll talk to you about the concept of heaven and earth. At every Sunday service, we bow to the fourfold graces, one of which is the grace of heaven and earth. We often use the term Qi, which means nature and the universe. We believe that we humans, heaven and earth, are all one, including, but not limited to, what we Westerners might call Mother Nature. Master Sotasan, who was the founder of Won Buddhism, developed the concept of Il Won Song, the one circle image, indicating that all things in the universe are as one, and all have a Buddha nature. Master Sotasan said that we can't live without heaven and earth, and that's pretty easy for we Westerners to accept. The soil, the rain, light and darkness, the sun and the moon, and even the wind provide the sustenance we need. And we try to grasp the concept of the limitlessness of the universe, which has no ending and no beginning. Master Sotasan described the characteristics of heaven and earth as radiant, steadfast, meticulous, just, reasonable, vast and immeasurable, eternal and imperishable, accepting, free of a sense of self, without good or ill fortune, and free of thoughts and applications. Well, that's quite a lot to absorb and attribute to the earth, heaven, and even to ourselves, because we Westerners have tended to think of these as three separate entities: heaven, the earth, and ourselves. But notice that Master Sotasan gave heaven and earth the same attributes that we as humans aspire to have, because we're one with heaven and earth. Not long ago, I had a major conflict in my life that reminded me of all this. I was serving on the board of our local homeowners association. We have very strict rules about cutting down trees in our neighborhood. A few weeks ago, my wife and I heard chainsaws across the little lake we live on, so we went over to investigate. Loggers were cutting down a number of 80-foot tall, 50-year-old trees. I literally lost it. I became so angry that I had to leave. I let my wife Regan talk to the homeowners, while I went on a walk to contemplate and to cool down. I don't recall ever having been so angry. But I asked myself why. I've seen commercial timber operations before, but not in my neighborhood. I believe I was so upset because I truly see myself as one with nature, or heaven and earth, if you will. To me, cutting down 50-year-old healthy trees without a good reason was almost like cutting down a family pet, or worse. I spent much of my professional and personal life in the woods and in nature as a biologist. We live in our neighborhood because we like our lake and the trees. I've often considered the woods my temple. It is literally paradise to me, or heaven on earth. Spending time there is my opportunity to lose my sense of self, and at least temporarily escape my life of causes and conditions. So seeing someone abruptly change that temple was offensive to me. But as I calmed down, I also realized that I was one with the homeowners, and, as well, the logging crew. They too have a Buddha nature, right? So I returned and I apologized to them for my behavior and explained myself. They didn't know anything about neighborhood rules, so it really wasn't their fault. So we are one not only with human nature and Mother Nature and the universe, but with all other people as well. Those whose actions we like and those whose actions we don't like. That can be a real struggle sometimes. So what are we to make of this oneness, this concept that we are not separate from heaven and earth, all other peoples, and the whole universe? Master Sotasan said that we should feel grateful for heaven and earth and show our gratitude by modeling ourselves in the way or Tao of heaven and earth. He suggested we show our appreciation in 8 ways. First, by inquiring into the nature of human affairs. Secondly, by applying ourselves and our actions to achieve our goals. By avoiding becoming enticed by remoteness or closeness, intimacy or distance, joy or anger, sorrow or happiness, and thus ever keeping with the middle way. By first scrutinizing our possible actions and choosing the reasonable ones and abandoning the unreasonable ones. By being free from partiality, by becoming liberated from the changes of birth, old age, sickness, and death. By finding ill in fortunate events and good in unfortunate events. And to avoid being enticed by the possibility of good or ill futures. And finally, by nurturing the way that is free of thought and action or at rest, harboring no concept or sign after rendering spiritual, physical, or material beneficence. Thus, we should not expect anything in return from heaven and earth, or from our fellow human beings as a result of our appreciation or goodwill. Heaven and earth do not bestow blessings or happiness, grief, or bad luck. Nature and the universe does not recognize itself. It has no ego or self. It simply is. To understand this, we must first recognize that we and the universe are impermanent. It's said that all the cells in our body are replaced every 7 years, some much faster. I know that I'm not the same person, mentally or physically, that I was last year, yesterday, or even this morning. Of course, we naturally have a sense of self in order to function in this world. But as Buddhists, we're told to have no self, just like heaven and earth. Well, how do we do that? We must recognize that the self we have is an image we have constructed in our own mind based on our upbringing, education, and experiences, put together from causes and conditions from our 5 aggregates. I recently read the book Eco-Dharma by Dr. David Loy, who says that we need to realize that the self is empty, an impermanent manifestation of something greater than ourselves, that we may not understand, but we are open to. To me, that would be the concept of il-one. We are all one. As evidence of our oneness with heaven and earth, Dr. Loy relates that our bodies are made up of the same elements that make up the oceans, rivers, mountains, and trees. Our blood is salty because it duplicates our original ocean home. In fact, we share 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees and bonobos. And of course, we also share 99.99% of our DNA with all other humans, be they black or white, short or tall, Republicans or Democrats, or tree huggers or tree cutters. In fact, Dr. Loy says we can't leave the natural world because we never left it. And just like our body parts cooperate with each other to make the whole human system work, so too do the sun, moon, stars, and the earth make a giant cooperative that makes the whole universe work. Dr. Loy says that when we realize that the world is a mutual, interdependent, impermanent, and cooperative enterprise, and that we human beings are all mutual friends in the process of birth and death, old age and suffering, then we can build a noble, even heavenly environment. Wouldn't that be paradise or heaven on earth? As I mentioned, I find heaven on earth or paradise, if you wish to call it that, in my surroundings. When I look into the daytime sky, I'm reminded that the sun is the source of all our life, as is the rain. But when I look into the sky at night, my thoughts are of a vastness or a great void. I know the moon and the stars I see are but a few compared to the billions of others in the universe, which, again, has no end. But really, no end? How can that be? My human mind can't grasp a fourth dimension. But I'm reminded that the universe is limitless. Both we and the universe have no beginning, no ending, no birth or death, all formless, constantly changing, and impermanent. I personally struggle to understand all of this, as much as I struggle to understand myself. I tell myself that I may never fully understand my original Buddha nature or find enlightenment, but that's okay. It's the journey and my practice that makes me a better person, not necessarily the destination. And though I don't always understand it, the seeking brings me peace. Or, as the Christian Bible says, the peace that passes all understanding. But of course, our earth, which is also our heaven, sometimes struggles too. Climate change, pollution, wars, and human injustice plague both our planet and ourselves. Master Sotasan said that if we show ingratitude towards heaven and earth, or to each other, we'll receive punishment from heaven. Or, as the Christian Bible says, Father, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Fortunately, we're not just observers of the cosmos, we're also active participants. We can do things. Mother Teresa was once told that her work was merely a drop in the bucket of what was needed, so why bother? She answered, the ocean is made up of tiny drops. And remember Master Sotasan's admonition that every step you take, everything you do, is Buddha Dharma. Remember also our sacred chant, Sanjo. May you attain eternal life in heaven and earth, perpetually shining, even with the extinction of all things. I may not be able to save the world, but I can recycle a can, plant a tree, and help a neighbor. If we all do these things, we can make the world a better place. And I can work on my own mind. Mahatma Gandhi once said, the greatness of human beings is not so much in their being able to remake the world, but in being able to remake themselves. Master Sotasan said, if we want to improve the world, we must first improve our own mind. I'd like to close today with a poem by the author and conservationist Wendell Berry. It's one of my favorites, and I personally believe it reminds us of the oneness of the heaven and earth and how we, as humans, fit in. It's called The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives might be, I go and I lie down where the wood drake rests, in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for the very insightful, thoughtful Dharma talk. A lot to contemplate. So why don't we have a moment of silence to reflect on today's message? And please feel free to share any feedback or comments about today's message. Thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you all next week.